up, guys? Back with another video. Thank you for clicking on this and joining me today. Before we get into things, I just wanted to remind you to like the video, please. That helps me tremendously. Comment so we can engage and talk about your feelings on this topic, and of course subscribe if you enjoy this content. Without any further ado, let's talk about the top 6 things that you can do to help not get fat during the quarantine. First tip that I'm going to give you guys is to stay busy. Now, staying busy might seem like kind of a loaded thing and something that may be too broad, but this is a good thing because staying busy is different for everyone. Now, of course, staying busy is great for something that's really obvious for most of us, and that's moving more. The more you move, the more calories you burn, and the harder it is to gain weight. So if you're somebody that likes doing house chores such as sweeping or even cleaning and mopping and such, this is great for you. In addition to this, since it is nicer outside now, if you enjoy gardening, mowing, and other things like that, that's another great way to stay busy. In addition to this, you can also take some time to plan ahead. Planning ahead is great for 2 reasons. It keeps your mind off things currently that might be going bad in your life due to the quarantine, and it also gives you a step up to move your future forward. Regardless of what you do to stay busy, the main thing we're trying to do is to keep your mind off of food. Keeping your mind off of food is incredibly important because the second you start thinking about food, whether you're mentally hungry or physically hungry, they're both kind of the same thing. You're gonna feel hungry and want to eat regardless. The next tip we're gonna look at is taking frequent move breaks. Now, taking frequent move breaks could mean a variety of things. As we mentioned from the last tip, this could mean something as simple as cleaning the house and just getting up to move. It should be a priority though to try to get up about every hour or so to do some type of movement. Whether this is a couple air squats or marches in place, or something such as going for a walk, any type of movement is going to allow you to burn some calories, increase circulation of blood through the body, which helps with decreasing achiness in some of your joints from sitting all day. The next tip I'm going to give you is to load up on water all you can. Drinking water, as we know, is extremely important for keeping ourselves hydrated and for general health. Drinking water can do 2 other things for you as well that may help lay off the pounds. The first thing is that being dehydrated can actually mask as being hungry. So, if you are dehydrated, it might seem like you're really hungry, but in reality, you just need a little bit more water. Another thing is that drinking a lot of water can help you feel full. If you don't drink any water with your meal, you may not feel as full as if you drank some water with your meal. Drinking water is incredibly important in this aspect because that feeling of fullness is usually what stops us from eating more. The next tip we're going to look at is keeping junk food out of the house. Now, for many of us, junk food is kind of part of our life. We enjoy it. I enjoy it, even being somebody in the fitness community. But it is something that you need to be aware of if you can't control yourself. If you are somebody who devours an entire box of Oreos the second you bring them home, it's probably a good idea to not bring these things into your house in the first place at all. If you give anyone a choice between eating healthy food, such as a banana, some cottage cheese, apples, or salad, versus junk food, of course, most people are going to steer directly towards the junk food right away. The problem with junk food is twofold. The first one being that there is a low amount of nutrients in the food. Junk food is highly processed, and a lot of those vitamins and minerals that we need are stripped out of that food to either preserve shelf life or make them taste better. In addition to this, they're also very low in fiber, which can help in the feeling of fullness. The other issue with junk food is that they're also very high in energy density. This means that their calorie content for the amount of food you get is extremely high. This usually makes the food much less filling and will make you want to eat more in compensation. This can lead to you consuming an incredible amount of calories extremely quickly and not even being full. A good tip at home is to have fruits and vegetables or healthy snacks at eye level. This will make it easier for you to choose this, as this is the first thing that comes to mind when you open your fridge or your cupboard. Tip number 5 is self-evaluation, and this is probably the hardest tip to actually follow. Self-evaluation involves taking a step back and looking at what you actually need during these times. For a lot of us, since we're sedentary, we're going to need a lot less calories than we may have normally done if we had a light activity level job or something even more active like a construction worker or potentially even an athlete. Self-evaluation can be done by two things. The first one being roughly tracking what you eat throughout the day. This can help give you a ballpark estimate of how much food you're eating and also what kinds of food you're eating. The second thing that you should do is to compare these food values and amounts with recommended guidelines by the USDA in addition to the Harris-Benedict equation. The Harris-Benedict equation is great because you can plug in your age, sex, height, and your activity level to find out an estimated amount of calories that you need. If you have noticed based off your food log that you're eating way more calories than the Harris-Benedict equation recommends, this is likely a good time to pull back on how much you're eating, but also take a look at what you're eating as well. If you're overeating, it's usually due to junk food increases. There's not a lot of people who can overeat on broccoli, chicken, and rice. And the sixth and final tip we're going to look at is creating SMART goals for quarantine. Now, the term SMART is simply an acronym that helps us create goals that are both attainable and doable for all of us. The first part of SMART goals is S, or specific. This means that your goal isn't broad and has a specific time, deadline, etc. The next portion of SMART goals is M, which is measurable. Measurable goals usually have a specific value or a way that you can track your progress. The A in SMART goals is for attainable. Attainable goals are something that you are able to do and wouldn't have any problem doing them. An attainable goal is specific to that exact person, such as, for me, losing 100 pounds is not very attainable since I'm already around 170. I would be very small and would actually probably be close to dying at this point. However, somebody who's morbidly obese, losing 100 pounds is very attainable and actually something that should be encouraged. Now the R in SMART is for realistic. Realistic goals have to do with the timeline of your goal. A realistic goal is something that you should be able to do in your time frame realistically. So if I said I wanted to lose 10 pounds by next week, that's not very realistic. But if I wanted to lose 10 pounds in 6 months, that's very realistic and a very good goal. And the last portion of creating a SMART goal is timely. Timely goals simply mean that you create a time frame for the goal. If you don't have a specific time frame, you're less likely to adhere to the goal because it's not really something that's on your radar for the future. So next what we're going to do is do a little quiz on what some good and bad SMART goals will be. This will help you give a mindset of what you might want to look for when building your own SMART goal for quarantine and also some things to avoid. So let's take a look at these 4 goals that I've created. There's some good things and bad things about some of these goals, while one of them is actually a very good SMART goal to choose from. Go ahead and take a few seconds to analyze these 4 goals, going through the SMART principles of goal setting. Once you have decided which goal you think is the SMART goal, go ahead and take note of that. Well, did you get it correct? Let's take a look at why some of these goals aren't particularly SMART and why the last goal that I have chosen is a good SMART goal. There's some issues with the first goal, the main one being that losing 15 pounds in 2 weeks is simply not realistic. Usually you try to lose about 1% of your body weight in 1 week. Even if you are morbidly obese, losing 15 pounds in 2 weeks is still a very quick amount of weight loss. In addition to this, there is no specific reasoning of what they are going to do to get to this weight loss. The second goal has issues because of 2 different things. The first one being that there is no specific time frame given for the walking amount. How much are we going to walk? 30 minutes? An hour? 2 hours? This is a big difference that will make a huge impact into your goal. In addition to this, the goal isn't very timely. Although it does say I want to walk 3 times a week, it doesn't say for how long. Do I want to walk 3 times a week for the next month, for the next year, till the end of quarantine? It's not given, so it's just not clear. The third goal is not a bad goal. I would never try to knock somebody for trying to eat 2 apples a day. That's obviously great. However, it's not said of what they actually want to do with this goal. Do they want to eat 2 apples every day to just be healthy? Or is there something else? Is eating 2 apples a day an effort for weight loss? It doesn't really say what they want to actually do with eating 2 apples a day. And of course, the last goal is an example of a good SMART goal. It shows exactly what we want to do by maintaining the weight. It shows how we're going to do it by walking 10,000 steps a day, and it's very timely and realistic, being that we're going to do this for the next 30 days. Hopefully that gives you a good representation of how to make a good SMART goal. I just wanted to take a couple seconds to thank you all for making it to the end of the video if you did so. And if you did like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in that next one. Bye.